Today we're going to be comparing and ordering fractions. In order to compare and order fractions, the wholes need to be of equal value. Otherwise, I could say that 1/4 represents more than 1/2. For example, 1/4 of the world's population represents more than 1/2 of Queensbury's population. As a picture, it might look like this. So here, the larger circle represents the world's population, and I might be looking at just 1/4 or 1/4 of the world's population as compared to Queensbury's population, specifically looking at 1/2 of Queensbury's population. So we can say that 1/4 is larger than 1/2 when the whole populations, are different sizes. So when we want to compare and order fractions, we want to make sure that our wholes are the same size. So if we compare the same two fractions but based off of equal wholes, it would look like this. We'd have 1/4 over here shaded in, 1/2 here shaded in, and because the wholes are the same size, we can compare these fractions and we can see that 1/4 is less than or smaller than 1/2. So if we need to compare and order the fractions, say 3/4, 3/5, and 5/8, we should compare them using the same size whole. There's a couple of ways to do this. One way is through use of division, and the other uses a common denominator. For this lesson, we're just going to look at division. So the first way is you pick any size strip of paper, say 10 centimeters long, and this will represent the whole. Because we have three fractions up here, we need three 10-centimeter strips of paper. So we're going to pretend that these are 10 centimeters. I have three strips, and each strip will be used for one of these fractions. So I've got 3/4 as my first fraction, so we're going to split this first strip of paper up into quarters. My second fraction is 3/5, so I want my second strip of paper or rectangle here to be split up into fifths. And the last fraction is 5/8, so my last rectangle or strip of paper needs to be split up into eighths, or 8 equal sections. So in order to split the strips or rectangles up into the right number of sections, we have to find out how long each section should be. So luckily with quarters and eighths, you can just keep folding a piece of paper in half until you get the right amount of sections. So for my quarters here, what I would do, if this was my 10-centimeter strip of paper, I would fold it in half. That would give me 2 sections, and then I would fold it in half again. And when you unfolded it all, you'd have this 4 equal sections. And then if you just wanted eighths, well, that's twice as many sections as quarters. So you do the same thing. You'd fold the piece of paper in half once, twice. That gives you quarters. Fold it in half a third time. Then when you open it up, you'll have 8 equal sections. So for these two, you can simply just fold the piece of paper up in half over and over again. To split a strip of paper up into fifths, it's not quite as easy. So if this is a 10-centimeter piece of paper that I have here, and I want to divide it up into 5 equal sections, I can divide 10, so the 10 centimeters, by 5 to find out how long each section should be. So I need to take 10, divide it by 5, and that equals 2. Therefore, each section in this strip of paper should be 2 centimeters long. Right? It's a 10-centimeter strip of paper divided into 5 equal sections. That equals 2 centimeters per section. So I take a ruler, I'd measure from one end of the paper, 2 centimeters in, draw a line. Another 2 centimeters, draw a line, and keep on going 2 centimeters at a time until you reach the end. Then just confirm that you have 5 equal sections, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're each 2 centimeters long, so this strip has been split up into fifths. So when we put them all side by side and shade in the correct number of sections, it's easy to compare them. This first strip was split up into quarters or fourths. The second strip we had was split up into fifths, the one we just did, and the last strip was split up into eighths. So in this first rectangle, I wanted to show 3/4, so I shade in 1, 2, 3/4. The second strip that's in fifths, I want to shade in 3/5, so I shade in 1, 2, 3 out of 5 sections. And the last one was split up into eighths, and I had to show 5/8 here, so shade in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the 8 sections. Now when they're side by side, we can write them in order from smallest to largest. The smallest is this one here, as you can see, is the 3/5. The next one, just a tiny bit bigger, is 5/8, and then the largest here is 3/4.